I call Joe Goodhue.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. As I rise to speak on the Canterbury Earthquake Commemoration Day Bill, I need to record my heartfelt sympathy to those who have suffered great loss as a result of the 22nd of February earthquake. And loss has come in many forms. Loss of loved ones, and in that, loss of future dreams and plans, loss of homes and possessions, loss of businesses and jobs, loss of what we know to have been the Christchurch that we lived in, that we worked in, that we visited. And here I must add an acknowledgement to those from overseas who are also mourning lost ones, and some of them lost jobs as well. This tragedy became international from the moment it happened. Reports of the earthquake sped rapidly around the world, and within minutes we were receiving texts and emails from people asking if we were okay. Some of those texts and emails were never received, and no reply with good news will ever be received either. In a modern world with communication tools aplenty, being out of communication causes immeasurable anxiety, particularly at a time like this. Cell phones help save lives. They helped bring aid to those in need. They brought good news to many as well, and we all looked at those texts with relief in our hearts. But their silence when answers were sought was unnerving, was worrying, and in the end hinted at sorrow and loss. While there has been great loss, there has correspondingly been great courage displayed, tremendous generosity exhibited, and again, the international nature of this event has marked its gravity. Incredibly rapidly, nations from around the world offered their assistance, and New Zealand, as a nation, said thank you. Yes, we do need your help. We're a generous nation when it comes to offering our expertise to others in strife, and so it was no great surprise that that was reciprocated. No surprise, but nevertheless it was a huge comfort to know that our incredibly skilled emergency personnel, our urban search and rescue people, were to be massively swelled by ranks of Aussies, Singaporeans, Brits, Americans, Taiwanese, Chinese and Japanese. We welcomed them with open arms. The fluoro vests and the emergency services in uniform brought enormous comfort to a nation on edge as we hoped against hope that more lives could be saved in the aftermath. The courage of those who were searching will spawn heartwarming and emotional stories that will become part of this nation's history. The early searchers were actually the people that were caught up in this earthquake. They displayed sometimes superhuman efforts as they freed trapped people. And we heard of despair, elation, of hope and of tragedy. We must acknowledge the media and the way they brought this event into our lives through all of their mediums. At times the scenes of destruction became too much, the bad news unendurable, and we turned you, the media, off. But really we couldn't escape the reality of what the Christchurch people were living through. And so it came to what we were going to do in response. Everywhere, again not just in New Zealand but also internationally, the question was, what can we do, what should we do to help? I've witnessed and spoken with people who've become quite agitated because they couldn't personally think of a way they could physically help. But over time, in fact, we've worked out ways to help, each of us in our own ways. The armies of all shapes and sizes and descriptions were then mobilised. Our own armed forces, so fortuitously in Canterbury on an exercise, were very quickly there. Then we had the Student Volunteer Army, the Farming Army, the Salvation Army, the other church groups that mobilised their own army of helpers, the army of government departments that swung their plans of support into action, the Health Army, the armies of businesses that looked to fill every need that their own expertise could offer, the skilled and generous armies of volunteers that man every welfare centre and take aid to those in need. On Friday the 18th of March we're going to commemorate this event, and it would be fair to say in my electorate of Rangitata there's a mixed reaction to this. The businesses in mid-Canterbury are concerned at the financial impact this unexpected public holiday will have on them. But the decision to commemorate the event with a public holiday was not made without all the parties of Parliament considering that financial impact. The proposal that the government put to the other parties and to which they have agreed was to allow the community, through the memorial service, to have a day to reflect upon the event and to be amongst their loved ones, their family and their community. In South Canterbury, the southern part of my electorate, where people also identify very closely with Christchurch, with their friends and family there, and feel like close neighbours. There is no public holiday, and for some, they're not happy about that. But nevertheless, there will be an opportunity for them to mark this commemoration with reflection. It is my hope that through the memorial service in Christchurch and the planned service at lunchtime in Timaru and 9:30am in Ashburton, that our people can gather together to mourn, to pay tribute and to gather their energies for the future. It's my hope that day will be a day for reflection, tributes, a strong sense of community and purpose. As our Prime Minister has said, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Christchurch and their loved ones. We'll also stand shoulder to shoulder with those from other nations who've experienced loss as well. Our support, shoulder to shoulder, will need to be not just today and tomorrow and next week. It'll be required for months and years to come. Christchurch may doubt its strength in the depths of despair, but the people of Christchurch are gaining strength, as are their neighbours in wider Canterbury. The strength of their nation will be strong shoulders to help Christchurch in the days, weeks, months and years to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.